Hey everybody, today I'm going to try a new show, I guess you can call it that. Basically, I'm going to show 10 facts that you probably don't know about some video game, and or console, and or something. Today I'm going to do NES because fucking why not? I'm just going to show some random stock footage and pictures as I go along, okay. Fact number 1, did you know the NES is classified as a third generation gaming console? Which pretty much means there were 2 generations of gaming console before it, and it's the third. Most people thought it's the first, which is saddening. Makes me sad face that people did not know. Alrighty, number 2, the NES has had more than one model, like the NES that you pop in, you lift up the tray, push the game in, push it down. No, that's not the only one. There's the top loader, which is basically the NES 2 that they called it, the Japanese Famicom, which most people should know about, and the Hyundai Camboy, just to name a few. Or the Nintoaster. That's not a real guy. That's not real, guys. Someone made that. That's not Nintendo. Alrighty, number 3. If you were to include the unlicensed games and special event games such as Nintendo World Championship and whatnot, games like that, you would end up with over 1,000 NES games. Now I can't say if that's like the leading number of games for one console because I don't have any official lists of any other games, and it's really hard to find a official list of NES games, for that matter. But there's over 1,000. I think. I hope. I'm fairly sure. Anyways, moving on. Fact number 4. The NES has a 1.66 megahertz processor, or a 1.79 if you have the PAL version. And my house phone has 1.9 gigahertz, and there's about 1,024 megahertz to a gigahertz. So theoretically, you could emulate NES on a house phone, which is pretty fucking cool, I think. It's amazing to see how far chips have come in processing power. And the NES only had 2 gigabytes of RAM. Again, I'm going off the North American. Alright, yes, 2 gigabytes of onboard RAM. Some games came with RAM expansions and shit like that, but 2 gigabytes, if you think about that, most computers these days are like 2 to 4 gigs. 2 gigabytes really it's nothing. It's nothing. Alrighty, next fact. The NES, before it was the NES, like the big gray box that sits on under your TV and you plug it in, put games in. The Famicom, which is the Japanese version, was actually meant to be released in North America under Atari, called the hell is it called? The Nintendo Advanced Video Gaming System, which is a silly name, I think. NES is much better. But yes, Nintendo actually wanted Atari to release the NES as the Famicom. But some things went through, they changed their mind, and we have what we know now as the NES because Nintendo was like, fuck you guys, we're just gonna release it ourselves. Which is pretty cool, because Atari and Nintendo, that just sounds like a silly idea, making video game consoles together. Moving on. Not long after the release of the NES, it was selling 10 times the amount of consoles as the Sega Master System, this Atari 7800, and the NTV, which is amazing because they must fucking suck. Actually, the 7800 did suck. I don't know about the NTV, but I like the Sega Master System. That was a fun thing. Alright, fact number 7. Like the Famicom did, Nintendo wanted to release a disk drive for the NES, but for whatever reason, they didn't release it because the fucking disk drive sucked for the Famicom and nobody bought it. It sucks. Don't buy it. But yeah, they wanted to make one for the North American NES. Probably PAL version 2. I don't know. Number 8. There are fucking like 50 plus NES accessories for the NES. Yes, over 50. There's like the Power Glove, which everybody knows, and the Zapper. I hope you know what the Zapper is. And Rob. Those are some good ones. But then there's the Super Chair. And the Rollin' Rocker. But the Super Chair, look at it. Just look at it. Like, why? Why? Number 9. Despite the Super Nintendo being released in 91 or 90, 92, depending on your region, but basically North America was 91, the NES wasn't fully discontinued until 1995 in North America, or surprisingly, the Famicom wasn't discontinued until 2003 in Japan. which is amazing because that's a long lifespan for the NES. I did not know it went that long, especially the Famicom. 2003, holy shit. And another fact, number 10. Okay, you guys ready for this? You guys ready? The NES had the most launch titles at launch. Like 18. That didn't make sense, but you know what I mean. When consoles launch, they have launch titles. And the NES had 18 of them. And it held that record until September 9th, 1999, when the Dreamcast was released in North America, beating it by only 1 point with 19, which is depressing. Like, what the fuck, Nintendo? You got beat by 1 point. Sega kicked your ass by 1 point. Although it did take them like almost 20 years later. Either way, that's 10 facts for NES. I hope you like, rate, comment, subscribe, all that fun shit. Next, I'll probably do Super Nintendo because that just makes sense to me. Alrighty. Bye.